What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is another chance encounter. Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. We're seeing more properties like this being built in front of a house that's going to be torn down soon. I understand that there are power lines that are getting kind of close. What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg, and that there is a commercial real estate building. I'm joined today with Quentin Finnerty. How are you doing today, Quentin?
Good. How you doing, Dan? Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So do you actually have four other siblings, or did they just pick Quentin? Because
Just one.
oh, okay, far out.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of one, I gotta let you know, Quentin, that my very favorite audience member is here today. How exciting is that? And why is my favorite audience member here today? It's because this is a chance encounter. And what are chance encounters all about? It's where I interview commercial real estate syndicators, operators, financiers, you name it, anybody who's directly involved in this. And why do I do that? Well, the biggest thing for me is compliance because I'm from the internet. So it's really, really important to dot your I's and cross your T's and all that sort of stuff. But before we get too excited about where you fit into this business, Quentin, how about you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, great. So I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. That's kind of where I got started into real estate investing. Late 2019, bought a 4 unit house, hacked that with an FHA loan. It was completely vacant, so I was able to get the right tenants in there and got experience with vetting the right people and putting together the right leases. Um, Soon after that, did a single family flip. It was a distressed property. It was literally tipping backwards, falling over. Completely had to restructure the whole house, pretty much do everything from plumbing to new framing walls, opening walls, put it in bathrooms, all that stuff. Shortly after that, acquired 4 more units and moved down to Texas, where I'm at right now in Austin, Texas. And looking at anything from like 10 units to 100 units plus. Austin's kind of a market where there's a lot of smaller unit properties. So kind of looking at anything, don't want to have too tight of a criteria.
Mhm.
Also looking at some land development plays, doing horizontal development for home builders come in and build homes. So
Mhm.
looking at a couple 52-acre pieces of land right now, and also kind of looking into storage unit development because it's a simple thing to
Mhm.
kind of develop compared to doing multifamily. So
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So
yeah,
we'll tailor that with the different roles here, and this is an amazing example of effectively communicating on the subject of commercial real estate, which is something that I want you to be able to do. So there are a few things that I want to do first, though. First one is if I hit that and then I hit this. There it is. Okay, the first thing was supposed to be, but wait, check your eight. Uh, can you do me a favor there, Quentin?
yeah.
Like kind of like under the mic. Can you see in the viewers? Do they have the red
Mm,
subscribe button or is it gray? Because it really should be gray. Yeah, well, it's not important. Anyway, let's do the five
should be
different
right.
distinct motivations I've found here among commercial real estate investors. Now, the story about that is I've met a whole whack of commercial real estate players, and this tells me why they're going to keep going. So, the first motivation I've found for some people is to preserve their purchasing power. Now, what that's all about is if somebody has a sufficient nest egg, aka a portfolio of properties that have cash flow coming in as an owner, then the only reason why they're going to make another acquisition is to preserve their purchasing power. Okay, keep away the negative effects of inflation from taking away the value of your nest egg. So that's what some people are up to. That's not really me though. My one is trading time directly for wealth. Now, what that's all about is I've got a background in tech. Specifically, I own a CRM based agency for integrating with people's websites, and I have since 2011. But one of the problems of making money in the form of salary or wage or anything like that is you are paying more in tax than anybody else. So it hit me as like, well, why should I should pivot so that I'm getting rewarded in the form of deployed equity rather than in cash and then giving the government a piece of everything along the way. So that's what I'm up to. But a lot of people, when they first are approaching commercial real estate, they're doing it because they got ideas about fast tracking retirement. And what that actually means is they want to take control of their schedule. Maybe they want to work fewer months per year, or maybe it's fewer hours per week. But regardless, it's not because they want to hustle more, it's because eventually they want to hustle less, which is not the case with some of the others. Like the super ambitious ones, they want to buy their entire hometown. And what they're after is for that generational wealth to make sure that their great grandchildren never have to hold a day job. Whereas the last one is some people, they've picked a sector of society, or maybe it's for the environment or animals or sending people to space, whatever it is. But they figured out that financially, you have to have a lot going on in order to really pull that off. So a lot of people turn around to commercial real estate to make that happen. So Quentin, of those 5 different motivations, what did you find describes you most accurately? What combination of them?
Yeah, good question. I would say currently right now is it's mainly the time thing. I'm 26 right now, kind of new to the whole industry, and my main goal is to create passive cash flow so I can have more time to think about other things. Um, Something I really want to do in life is kind of goes to your last, help people who need it. I think later on in life, once I have a good portfolio and good something that's running kind of in the background passively, I would love to get into other industries. I have no idea what that may be. Maybe it's something with the environment or helping other businesses grow. I would love to kind of provide value to other people. So that's kind of like the end goal. But right now, create that income to I have a W-2 job right now too, so create some income cash flow that can allow me to not have to be at a 9 to 5 and start thinking about some other cool ideas. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what I'm shooting for right now. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So my next question, it's a bit of a weird one. It's a fill in the blanks one. It's for the tolerance of risk assessment. So please fill in this blank. There are many popular investment asset classes, but I think blank is too risky. What do you think, Quentin? What's too risky for you?
I would say a lot of the newer stuff like the NFTs going on. We kind of invest in a picture. I'm not sure what really goes into it, but I think that's pretty risky. Obviously, you can make a lot on it with the appreciation, what's going on, but it's not really something you look at with a long-term scope as of yet, I would say. It
Mhm.
doesn't have real value.
All right.
I was thinking stocks, but I mean, stocks could be pretty valuable if you do it right with dividends and whatnot. They pay off. But yeah, NFTs would be my number one.
Right, right. Even the people that I know who are making the most in real estate, they still have a little bit playing inside.
Yeah, just have fun with it, kind
So
of.
so like poo-pooing
Yeah,
it as a whole, it's kind of a tough pill to swallow. So,
exactly.
but yeah, people don't have anywhere near enough exposure to real estate because I think that that's what actually really super duper grows.
Yeah, I think things like NFTs are, if you have some fun money to play around with, why not? But if it's like your life savings, you shouldn't maybe put that
Man,
into real
yeah,
estate
it's not
instead.
even that far, but anyway, we're not giving financial advice because we're not financial advisors and stuff. But what we are going to talk about is how commercial real estate deals work, including how my guest
Right.
fits in. And if you want your copy of the Dan Does Deals commercial roll die like this, you can go to dandoesdeals.com. And like a dummy, I don't even ask for your email address, which is like the worst thing if you're a marketer. Like you always ask for contact information in return for something. But I want you to print this out. I want you to share this with your friends and family because your ability to be articulate when it comes to this stuff is hugely important to your success. So in every episode, I go through all 6 sides, and then I get my guest to say what combination of them is really closest to what they do. But let's first talk about the repositioner. The repositioner is an acquisitions person. So they're looking at a bunch of different properties. They're doing a bunch of different paperwork. And what are they looking for? What are they doing? Well, there's a fancy word for it. It's they underwrite the deal, which means they do the math. They do the arithmetic. They're first of all figuring out, hey, is this business actually even making the amount that they claim it is? And so what the repositioner is also doing on top of that is they're also going, how do I find some upside? And there are three main tools in the tool belt of a repositioner to pull that off. They all have some sort of role as a financier, or they have to have a network of financiers, banks, lenders in general. And if you have more advantageous lending, you can bake in some upside. So that's what some repositioners are up to, but let's assume that's not on the table. More often than not, you're always going to be looking at operations to see how can we stop these Benjamins from going down those toilets. But there's more to operations than just unclogging toilets, collecting rent, mowing lawns, taking out trash, and all that sort of stuff. There's also a marketing component, and that's the thing that I bring to my GP teams, and because they call it the vacancy rate. You end up if you have a good marketer, then you can make sure that those units are nice and full. There are also automations and things you can do to make operations more efficient, but that chances are it's not going to be enough for the whole project to be profitable enough. So they often get a contractor team in there. They do a value add. They fix the place up. And one of the problems of having a big expensive rehab of a building is that if you are like me and you're from the internet, you really, really need locals. You need boots on the ground who can be there in an hour or two, because I'd be stuck at an airport. So that's definitely not going to be me. But if this group of people who are joining together to be owners, and they turn around to the financier and saying, hey, I'm looking to buy this building and it's worth tens of millions of dollars. Hey, you don't happen to have, say, tens of millions of dollars that you want to lend me, do you? Well, the financiers are going to want to know one other thing that I haven't mentioned yet, which is who's the sponsor KP. And what's that all about? Well, a lot of coaching programs, they really gloss over this part, but to be eligible for a commercial loan, somebody in the fold has to own a similar asset. Okay, so that means if you want to get in on a 350 unit apartment complex with your buddies, then you're going to need somebody in the fold who already owns a 350 unit apartment complex, or you're not eligible for the loan. On top of that, you also need a certain amount of liquidity, and then you also need a balance sheet of at least the amount of the loan. But if you've got all those pieces, you've got yourself a commercial real estate deal. So Quentin, as far as your core competencies, what roles do you play most likely in your next deal?
Yeah, I would say underwriting is my most comfortable, and but I really love operations. I love coming up with a strategy for running the deal, making the management better, and even coming up with a vision. If it's a development deal, I really like thinking about what could we make this dirt into, or what could we flip this property into? What would we make it look like to bring it up to par? I really like that side of it, but I kind of come from my 9 to 5 is actually underwriting, so I do a lot of the math behind it. But my passion, I think, lies in the strategy and operations. That's where I kind of gets me going, gets me excited about it.
All right. Excellent. And so then the next question has to do with ideal property. And I know you
Okay.
already mentioned some of that earlier and how you're in a few different asset classes. But I want to let you know that when commercial investors, syndicators, and whatnot are talking about what's your buy box, what's your ideal property, they're really talking about three things. The first one's geography. So which states, which counties, possibly even which neighborhoods. Okay, that's going to be very important. The second one is going to be the size of the deal. Okay, so it's some people are going to be aiming for the 5, 10, 15, 50 units, somewhere around that neck of the woods stuff. And then other people are going to be in the 500 range, and it's a completely different deal. So the size is definitely important. We're talking about multifamily, that they also use units in a lot of other types, but like, industrial be square footage. But the third thing is class. And I got a beef with class because they use the same word for two things. I hate it when they do that. But the two meanings of class, the first one is the condition of the building. So is it old or is it up to date? And is it bare bones or is it lavish? Okay, that's one meaning of the word class. Now, the other meaning of the word class, it has to do with the neighborhood where the property is located. So what's the crime rate like? How much traffic does it get? Okay, that's also what are the school districts like? Those are the things that the second meaning of class has, but both of them are rated the same as in grade school. So it's like A plus, A minus, B plus, C, and so on. So Quentin, as far as, and you can go through the different classes like self storage again, but what's the really ideal property where it's easier to say yes and it's more difficult to say no?
Yeah, ideal property would be something that's a class B minus, turn it into a class B plus, class A. Um, Ideally, it'd be nice to be at 100 units and up, but I don't want to really tighten it too much. So I'm looking at kind of anything from 10 units to 100 units in the Austin market. Um, Something that needs whatever kind of, not something that's fallen over, I guess, something that needs like a decent amount of construction work, but isn't, you can get it a loan. You can get a loan on it at least, something that you don't have to raise 100% of the equity for, unless it was a really good development play. For land, kind of looking at anywhere outside of Austin right now, East Austin, they're putting in like a Tesla plant. Well, they already have a Tesla plant, but they're building more with SpaceX, and Samsung's putting a big city in out there. So pretty much anything out there with land, because they're going to be building a lot of homes. So it's kind of, Austin's a really big land play for that reason. There's not enough housing here. Um, San Antonio, we're looking at a lot of existing apartments down there because it's an older city. It's much larger. There's a lot of existing multifamily assets down there. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of spread the net on that side of things. See what we can
Excellent.
catch.
Excellent, excellent. So my next question then, it has a little bit of a caveat. The fact is, I love the fact that because you've got these multiple different lanes in commercial real estate, the people who are in this industry are so helpful and so willing to give referrals and all that sort of stuff. But that's because they're building these different teams. But with all of our unique talents, skills, whatever you want to call them, we also tend to have one side of the die that we're disproportionately well suited to help. And for me personally, I'm always on the lookout for more sponsor KPs. And the reason for that is because they've got the foundation in place, with their list management, their CRM. You are upgraded from an Excel sheet, I hope. But I need to talk to sponsors and KPs because they've already got enough going on to really make a guy like me kick into his big talents from my CRM agency. But I don't know about you, Quentin, but if you have any 506B deals going on right now, don't entice investors, whatever that means. I think talking to beginners is fine, but who are you disproportionately well suited to help? Who are you looking for these days?
Who am I looking for a deal particularly?
For people, for
Yeah,
roles.
I guess it would be more on the LP side, even GPs too, depending on what kind of deal it is. Certainly for a development deal, I would like some GPs that have done it before.
Mhm.
Um, Even for if it was a larger multifamily deal, it'd be nice to have one other GP that's had experience. So definitely GP for that, and mainly LPs to raise the money for the deal, and LPs for
So
KP.
you mean the financiers who have their own?
Mainly,
Yeah.
yeah, like the financiers. My business partner is construction. He's had a lot of experience with that, so I think running construction won't be too much of an issue. It probably
Mhm.
might be finding the people to do the work is one of the harder things these days. But yeah, mainly the financiers and KPs for the sign on for the loan, commercial loan.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. Excellent. And so the best way to reach me, honestly, is via LinkedIn. I do hope that everybody hits the subscribe button and catches me that way, because then YouTube will pay for these videos instead of me. That'd be nice. But what's the best way to reach out to you, Quentin?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn as well. It's Quentin Finnerty. Follow me on there or connect with me. Love to chat with anybody on there. I'm on Instagram as well. I haven't done a lot of real estate posts on there, but it's Finnerty 118 on Instagram.
All
Yeah.
right. Awesome. So the last thing is once again appealing to you, letting you know that if you are feeling all sorts of migraine, like searing feelings in your eyeballs, and it's like hurting your brain, it's probably because you have a red subscribe button under where I'm pointing right here. If you just click on it, it's free and it turns into the gray one, and it does not have any of those nasty side effects. So make sure you do that, because I'd really like YouTube to start paying for all this. I think it'd be cool. And then all it really means is that my list of videos might show up on your list of suggestions when you check out YouTube. But you can feel free to ignore those, because I just appreciate the fact that you spent this time with me. Just like Quentin, I appreciate you coming on and getting to know you a little bit better. Awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was awesome.
Thanks. Make sure you 506B me. Any syndicators, make sure you 506B me.
Hi.
Oh, hey, yeah, here's my code. You got your QR code scanner? Okay, yeah, oh yeah, just hold it right in the square there. Okay, cool. And now you hit open in browser.
Okay.
Okay, are you already logged into 506B me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so there's my video. So now I'm already on your watch list. So when you get back to your hotel, you can find out what my core competencies are and my level of sophistication. Sound good?
Yeah.
I love your hat. Real estate's a scam. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
You too.
506B me, everybody.